I'm here with Bayden Barber, the Executive Chair of Ngāti Kahungunu Iwi Incorporated. Kia ora, Bayden.
Kia ora.
Welcome,
Andrew.
good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Yeah. Bayden, it seems like it was not long ago when you were first elected, but it's mid last year really.
Yeah. I'll be coming up a year on the 26th of April.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
From the election, yep.
How is the job going? And obviously your focus has been the recovery, but what have been the challenges?
In the recovery space?
Well, we'll cover both. But
Yeah. Oh, okay. From the time elected and up to it's been a year. So there's certainly been challenges, but I knew coming into the role that there would be some challenges. We've worked through the Takatimu saga, and had some decisions on that in the last couple of weeks. Gabriel has been a big challenge for the region, as you've seen. But certainly from a iwi perspective, it's just making sure that we're online in terms of our 25-year vision, which is around making sure our people are excelling in everything that they do. So education, jobs and employment, the environment, te reo me ngā tikanga. Our people are doing strong, our whanau are doing well.
Oh, good. So I'll touch on some of those points. We'll ask you some more questions, but can you give us an overview of how badly the cyclone affected Kahungunu people and marae around the region as well?
Yeah, it was unprecedented, as you've noticed. We've had a number of marae that have been totally devastated. I've been out to all of them. Poranga in the south. That marae, the flood waters from the Poranga River went right through the marae there, and the village, about 30 homes were damaged there. And then coming back into Hastings, or Mahu, I mean that was shocking. The videos, the wide up over the roof, or just up to the roofs on a lot of that. So the marae has been, it was impacted, but it was quickly cleaned up. Probably the weekend or the couple of weekends after that happened, we had 1,000 people out there.
Yeah, I went out there a while back after, after the thing, and it was amazing how much work had been done.
So Makinan, Waiohiki, it was badly impacted. Not so much the marae or the wharenui, but all of the homes, all of the papakainga around there were smashed. And then you had Mōtio, Tobacco Napier and Petane, which is in the East Valley. Smashed. East Valley's just horrendous, eh? And then you have Tangoio, the next valley over, heading towards Wairoa. And so that marae was totally devastated, houses around it. So those types of marae, you're probably thinking about relocation. I know Tangoio were thinking about relocation about 4 years ago. And so they had started to put plans in place, but unfortunately didn't get there before this flood. And then Wairoa, that North Clyde, Takatimu marae, just devastated. Wairoa was lucky in terms that it didn't hit the south side where all the homes are. But that north side got smashed.
Because I suppose in the past, a good place for a marae has been near a river and that. And so where do you think, you were saying earlier when we were chatting that, move up hills.
Move up on the hills, the best cure, I think, is prevention. We just can't be around our rivers. I mean, we used to position ourselves there because of the kai, close to the pātaka, which are the rivers, the eels. But now with climate change, we need to be rethinking where we go and how we do it. I know there's going to be a lot of resistance from whānau that have been living there forever, but we can't not learn from this experience.
Now, obviously, this is going to be a huge cost. Have you got any sort of ballpark figure of what these sort of rebuilds and that of marae and that will cost, and relocations and that?
We're in the kind of the process of quantifying just the damage.
Yeah.
Relocation managed retreat, that's big money. That's big money. And across the region, it's probably in the billions in terms of the damage.
Yeah.
What we get in terms of a payout from the government probably won't hit that much,
No,
but yeah. So I'm on the National Task Force for Cyclone Gabriel.
Okay.
It's chaired by Sir Brian Roach.
Yes.
And I'm bringing them all in here next Friday to have a good look around. They just want to go out to the communities, get a feel for, because a lot of them are Wellington, Auckland based, and get a feel for the devastation. So we're talking big money. And that group is pretty close to Minister Robinson.
Yeah.
And so, it's about aligning the need. So these recovery plans are locally driven, regionally supported, and nationally funded.
Yeah. So that's good that you're on that committee, on that task force. So are you finding you've been listened to and you've got a voice?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And you can bring that Maori perspective as well. Yeah.
Bring the Maori perspective
and
too.
Kahununu. Yeah.
Kahununu. Yeah. We have economists. We have people that are all over the numbers.
Yeah.
But we have Ngāti Porou rep and one from up north too. So so there's a strong Māori voice.
Oh, good. Yeah. Because it is about the people.
It is. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's what I was saying to them. It needs to be driven from the ground up, from the community up.
Yeah.
And we're just here to make sure that the connection from the central government to our regions and to our localities is aligned.
Yeah. Because that's another thing. I mean, before the cyclone, there were some people in Kahununu and others as well who were struggling, and obviously this has pushed them over the edge a bit. How are you as Nikki supporting them?
So we were supporting our whanau from day one in terms of the regional welfare hub.
Yeah.
Our Tihei Mauri Order Surface run out of the regional or the showgrounds.
Yes.
So and that was just food, supplies, getting them up to our communities wherever they may be, choppers, etc., etc. Now that we're moving into the next phase from response to recovery, we're supporting through the collective, which is the Matariki Economic Strategy Group. So it's made up of all the mayors, councils, iwi, post-settlement groups, and so we're trying to show the government, hey, we can work together. We can be unified in our approach to regional recovery, so they know where to channel the funding, rather than everyone's going with their own little bits to the government. We're trying to do it collectively, and that's a smart move. So we're working with others around the recovery. We got money given, donated to us, so we can support directly some of those affected communities. Just with some of that money, but generally we're going to have to work together with others, make sure that we get a good regional pot to invest into the rebuild.
So now you're saying you've been out and about and you've been seeing things. You must have seen some shocking things and heard some quite sad stories, eh?
Yeah, there's been some sad stories, especially some of the fatalities within the cyclone. But I mean, people watching outside their windows as vehicles are floating past. This is why Hawke happened so quickly. 1 minute they're sitting there, next minute the water's right up into halfway up the doors. And the same up in Wairoa. It happened so quickly that you just had to get up high, get up on a roof. Otherwise you're going to be swept away. But even driving through the Esk, just the last couple of days, you still got cars and houses that are, doors are wide open, full of silt. Hey, it still looks like a war zone out there. So pretty.
When were you aware of how bad it was?
Probably the morning after. Like everyone else. I mean, we met as regional leaders the night before. Just to check. Mayors, how's Napier, how's Hastings, how we're looking at some of these high-risk areas. Yeah.
And no one saw this coming, eh?
No, I mean, that meeting was, people seemed to think that we were kind of prepared. Yeah. And then next morning, you know, we weren't. No, not at all. Yeah. Not even close.
So there are some learnings there.
Oh, there's a lot of learnings to have. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and Sir Brian Roach, he's a good...
he's a good chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had 2 meetings so far. But yeah, he's worked here at the DHB.
Yeah.
He knows Hawke's Bay. Yeah, he's sharp. Okay. And actually, you know, the members of the task force bring a lot of skill and experience.
Oh, good. Yeah. Now, moving on to other things, obviously the other big issue facing Nikki has been Takatimu Seafood, which your fishery business announced that it's going to close its retail store in Napier and online store and wholesale business. And this follows on from the closure of the Hastings one as well a while back. 33 staff affected. Was it a difficult decision to make?
Very difficult. Very difficult for a number of reasons. One, we've got 33 staff there. 2, you know, Takatimu was seen as a flagship for the iwi when Hawke's Bay Seafoods was bought back in 2019. So you say, you know, people kind of bought into a vision of being able to take fish from the sea to the plate, you know, bring it to retail or wholesale export. But it, you know, it just hasn't stood up financially. Over those years, even right from day one purchase. And so you know, the iwi have been underwriting a whole lot of loss, and you know that's, you know, it's all 15, 16 million. That's not including this year. You know, we haven't tallied up this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you know, but yeah, it was just too much. You know, there's no way we can continue to absorb that type of money. It's the future of our kids. It's the future of our people.
Yeah, because I was going to say, because I mean, 15 million over 3 years, and now you say there's more to come as well.
Well, this financial year.
Yeah. That's massive. Yeah. What happened? How did it happen?
It's a good question. It's a good question. I mean, I think it comes down to capability. You know, fishing businesses, you know, you look at the tallies, you know, these are family businesses, multi-generational. You know, they understand the business because you've got to have people that you can ring. You've got to get rid of, you know, you've got to be able to sell fish. Can't be sitting in the dock. Can't be sitting in the freezer. You know, you've got to have all those connections. And I just think, you know, we just didn't have that kind of those connections, networks, capability, and we just weren't making money. Business 101, you've got to make money. Because, you know, our asset holding company supports the business, which is the iwi business, of supporting our people's aspirations. And if you can't do that, well, then we need to exit. Because either improve or exit. We tried to improve, you know, we tried to change it up. It just didn't work.
Because when you became chair of Nikki, you were aware of the financial situation, and you actually even used it in your campaign to say you're going to turn it around. What have you done? I mean, obviously you've done, you were involved in the Takatimu decision, but what else are you doing and have you done?
So, not long after I came in, we brought on 4 new directors for the asset holding company, which has been key. I mean, this is how we get to where we got to, is having people that understand, 1, financials, 2, business, and what, you know, making hard decisions. So I mean, these are commercial decisions. And so that's been key, and it'll be key to getting us to where we need to get to. I mean, this is one step in a number of steps of where we need to get to, and that's Kahungunu flourishing economically. So this is the first step of that. You know, this has been like a weight on the iwi's neck, and we've just had to cut it loose. And now we can, you know, now we can start looking at opportunities rather than sinking money into a dead fish.
Dead fish, that's an appropriate way of looking at it, now, obviously you want to focus your financial resources on other opportunities and that. What are those? Have you got any new ones coming up?
Well, you know, I think with any disaster, there's always a silver lining. There's always opportunity. I mean, people can see disasters as disasters, or you can see it as opportunity. Yeah. So there may be opportunities that come out of what's happened in terms of economics. So there's a whole lot of land that's probably sitting dormant. People are looking at where they want to go financially. Horticulture, some of the primary industry. So we'll be looking. Not saying we're trying to take advantage of people's misery, but hey, there's we've never been in the horticulture industry.
Yeah.
For an iwi that's based here in Te Aroa, Te Kahu, here taunga Hokunu, here taunga the fertile plains. Yeah, we should be part of that industry, but we haven't. And so we'll be looking at ways to enter potentially. Yeah, but we got we've got Tautani Farm station. That's a 4,000 hectare station. We'll be looking at opportunities around that, joint ventures. I think the future is wide open. Yeah. And we've been meeting with the likes of the regional council, the regional investment company, about partnering. Because we rather than taking on a whole lot of risk, we'd be more interested in partnering with those that potentially have the capability and that can partner with the iwi to build our capability in certain industries. Yeah. But I think we just have to be smarter, that's all.
And also, you're obviously going to have to look at your due diligence that you do when you take on these projects.
Right. That's right.
So is that a focus that you're going to look at how you approach these?
And that's why we've brought in these commercial directors. It starts at the top. People need to understand how business works. And I'm 100% confident that we've got the right people sitting around that table now. It started with Takatimu, getting to where we needed to get to with that, and now we move forward.
Okay, and then another thing I want to talk to you about is an issue that's caused the Labour government a few problems. Has been the Three Waters legislation, and also there's been a bit of a controversy around the term co-governance. How would you describe co-governance?
Co-governance? Well, it's a treaty partnership. It just comes back to the 1840 signing of the treaty, and that's a relationship that Māori tangata whenua have with the Crown, and it's a 50-50 relationship. It's a partnership. So they've used co-governance as the title, but treaty partnership you could replace easily with co-governance. But it's about Māori, iwi, mana whenua, tangata whenua being at the decision-making tables, and water, that's huge. It's huge for Māori, it's huge for everyone. I was at a water conference recently. There's a global water crisis going on out there, so it's impacting all people, all cultures, all nations, and having Māori at the table, that to me is a benefit. We can bring so much more than how we've done things in the past. There's indigenous knowledge that can support infrastructure, that can support the way that we look at water, because at the end of the day we need to have enough water for everyone to use. We need water for drinking, we need water for industry, and having a Māori lens alongside everyone else is a good thing.
Who owns the water in New Zealand?
Ownership is, it's probably a good topic that we need to traverse as a people, because it's kind of the elephant in the room. At the moment, water is governed and allocated through a regional council kind of allocation process. And so you have rights to water that are being not so much sold, but allocated. And what we say as iwi is that we need to be, just like I mentioned with the treaty partnership, 50-50, we need to be sitting at that table as well. Because allocation, it's so important.
Yeah.
It's so important because if you over-allocate, which we've kind of done here in Hawke's Bay, that leaves, well, you've got a whole lot of water sitting amongst a few industries, and you've got a whole lot of people over here without water. And so it's about having equity around water allocation. But you know, I'm keen to have that conversation around who owns it.
Yeah.
We have a view that iwi Maori, we have rights and interests in water, but we're not saying, hey, give all that water to us. We say we could work at a partnership relationship with councils and the local central government around how water is used more efficiently for the betterment of all people.
So you're not wanting necessary authority over it. You just want to be part of the decision making.
We're a key. We need to be a key partner in how we allocate and how we use water. And it's not the case at the moment. Hasn't been the case ever. And so we need to move to that paradigm.
Because this whole co-governance is getting quite a few people riled up, and there's even a group going around and having meetings and that. And you took the step of writing an open letter, basically saying, look, to one of the venues, you know, don't hold this meeting, and else you'll have the iwi sort of to answer to. Why do you feel so strongly about it?
About that particular meeting, or about that?
Well, about the sort of sentiment, the people that are going. And
well,
saying,
for that meeting and that organisation that's running those meetings. If you look up the country where those meetings have been had, I mean, it's divisive for the community. You know, we're trying to be inclusive.
Yeah.
We're trying to say that having Māori at the table is not a divisive decision.
Yeah.
You know, it's actually good for people. We're trying to say that, hey, having Māori sitting along, and hey, I've been on councils. I've been sitting at tables for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's been good for our region.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll say that 100% of the time.
Yeah.
But what they're saying is that no, you know, they're trying to, they've got a polarising position that co-governance, there's nothing to be gained from co-governance.
Yeah.
And that's very divisive. It's going to split our communities through the middle. And what we're trying to say is that we can work with local government, we can work with Pākehā, we can work with anyone.
Yeah.
Because what we bring to the table, no one else can bring to the table. Yeah.
Do you think race relations in New Zealand and in Hawke's Bay have got better or worse over time?
I think they got better.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they've gotten better. I mean, there are flames that are being fanned by a minority within the community. Eh? But when I'm out there talking, and you know, I talk to a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like you know, things are starting to turn. But you know, we can get caught up in some of the rhetoric.
Yeah.
But it's only it's a minority of people trying to push this divisive kaupapa.
Some politicians as well.
Oh yeah, no, that's right.
David Seymour, Winston Peters.
So if you look at the ages and stages of some of these people that are pushing this kaupapa, you know, they're moving on. But if I'm thinking about the young people that are coming through, they've got a totally different outlook, because they understand that we're not going anywhere. We're actually going to be more populated with Māori here in New Zealand in the next 20 years than we ever have. You know, we're going to have more Māori, our kids are coming through, more educated. So, you know, I think people trying to say that, hey, we need to go back to 1820, this is crazy stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going there.
Yeah.
We're not going there.
Yeah.
So let's sit around and talk. I can talk to anyone, you know. It's not about me not wanting to have these discussions. I want to have these discussions. But when you're coming into our town, trying to flame division between iwi, mana whenua, and our Pākehā relations, you know, that's not good for anyone.
Yeah. Are you hopeful though that these sort of things can be overcome?
Yeah, I am hopeful.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they are challenging discussions because, you know, some people have been raised to think that, you know, it's only it's a vanilla society that we live in, but that's not the reality.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm of the mind that we can have a conversation, we can have a cup of Milo and talk about how you see the world. I can talk about how I see the world, and you know, find the middle ground. But yeah, I know I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that we can move forward. And if you know, if I'm looking at the leaders in Hawke's Bay, you know, I know every mayor, and we can have a robust discussion about, you know, where the future is. And each of them will say that iwi Maori is a key part of that future. No one's saying otherwise.
Now I know you probably want to get re-elected and that, but what would you want your first term to have delivered?
Putting us in a better position to succeed. You know, that's what I campaigned on. I knew there were some issues within our iwi that were kind of weights holding us back, and you know, come in and get to those hard decisions within the first year. I think it's been a challenge, especially with you know, the politics and the dynamics. But hey, we've got there, and now it's about taking us from where we are now to a really exciting future. Because I say, as Kahungunu being the second most populous iwi and the third in population, second in area in terms of our geography, and then second in terms of our coast. I mean, we should be doing so much better. And you know, I've been down to talk to our Ngāi Tahu cousins who are doing really well economically, but are probably not doing as well socially and culturally. You know, and we're sharing things. And so I'm working with other iwi, and I'm also working with business, working with our councils, because I think having a strong iwi is good for everyone. Ngāti Kahungunu being a strong iwi, you know, that's reaching its economic potential, reaching its social potential and cultural potential. That's great for Hawke's Bay, from Wairoa down to Wairarapa. It's good for the nation.
Well, we'll certainly come back to you at some point and see how things are going. But Bayden Barber, thank you so much for your time. It's been good chatting to you.
No worries. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cheers, Andrew.